it is Sunday, and thus it is time for the weekly check-in on the Nightmare Corridor and the Cursed Realm. And by weekly, I mean bi-weekly, and by bi-weekly, I mean every third week. Yeah, I'm sorry, the last 2 weeks I've been busy with my exams, so I haven't been able to spend much time in AFK Arena, and thus I haven't uploaded any videos. But I am back, and as you can see, the ranks are looking pretty for now. Let's start out in the Nightmare Corridor. Now for the Nightmare Corridor, as you can see, I didn't bother retrying many times because for me, improving my rank is basically just up to Scarlet RNG. So I'll show you guys my teams for the Nightmare Corridor, and then I'll also show you guys a Chinese guide I found on Discord, and then I'll also just talk about the round more generally. So for the first team here, I'm using a Scarlet team. Most people are using a Scarlet team. In here, one thing of note is actually the collections. Now the quality of your collection doesn't matter much, but make sure you have these types of collection. The +2 doesn't really matter here for this round. This is an RNG round. It can hit down to, I've hit 18 seconds, but it's heavily RNG dependent. If you have SI40 on either these two, that helps RNG, and obviously SI40 on Scarlet would also help RNG, but not many people have that. Interestingly enough, for the Nightmare Corridor, I'm not even using a Merc, and thus I believe this is like fairly free-to-play friendly actually, because I'm not using many Awakened heroes. So yeah, first team, Scarlet. One thing I did do is I popped 6,000 baits to bring my panda to level 20 with some more intellect notes to see if that helped RNG. And I think it did like slightly, but not to the extent that I had hoped for. Anyways, next, this is the Seal team. Now for the Seal team, there are many variations. I'm using a Saphir variation. And if you can use the Saphir variation, that's the best variation because that frees up Leica. Alternatively, you can also use one without Saphir, then use, what is she called? Then you can use pretty much like many heroes can fit in here, like Vithiel can fit in here, Lucilla can fit in here, Rain can fit in here. But yeah, I'm using this as the variation and it works for me. Here are the collections, as you can see. I don't even run a collection on Urine. I actually tried putting on a collection on Urine, but I was no longer able to dip down low in the seconds. So I have no idea what that is about, but you guys will see the true collection struggle once we get to the last team. But yeah, this was the Seal team, pretty self-explanatory. Next up, here I'm using the Baden team, right? There's really not much to note about the Baden team. Again, you use Baden and Trashia, you need Trashia's Engraving 30, you use this backline. I mean, I guess if you don't have Amelia, you can use like, what did I use previously? 2 seconds, let's just head back real quick. You can use Nevanthi, and that's like 4 seconds slower, but I mean, most people have Amelia, let's be honest. So yeah, here are the collection, this is the team, not much variation in here. Next up, here's the Athalia team. Now, for this Athalia team, you have to play around a bit. This is the most, for me personally, frustrating team to get to work. It can break on a whim. The main thing about this team is you want to make sure that Athalia is stronger than Palmer. And for most people, that's not an issue. But for me, because of Abyssal Expedition, I took my Palmer to a very high investment, as you can see, plus 40 signature item, 68 engraving, he's my highest engraved hero, and thus Palmer is really strong. So what I did to fix that is, as you can see here with my tree, I maxed out the warrior tree, and that was able to make her my strongest hero. And as you can see, once we play the battle here, that makes Ivan ult her and not Palmer. So Ivan ults here, and as you can see, he doesn't land on Palmer, he lands on, wait, I don't even, oh yeah, there he is on the Athalia, right? And that's what you want, right? You want Ivan to land on Athalia. And that's pretty much it. Variations, I guess there are a few. One thing you can do is you can use Awakened Chimera over this guy. And you can also use the Authors plus Liberta setup. Now for me, that's not possible because, before I do the seamless transition, here are the collections. Nothing of note in here. Actually, this collection on Daemon mattered a bit. This type of collection, the investment on it didn't really matter. But yeah, seamless transition, why I'm not using the Authors and Liberta version is because I'm using Liberta in here, along with Vika, who is the new star in the Nightmare Corridor, at least for lower accounts. Public service announcement, you don't have to take up Vika in investment. My best hits were actually with Vika at Mythic. When I got her at a higher investment, the hits got worse because she gets more health, and thus Liberta has a harder time linking Vika. which is what you want in this round. So you also have to play around a bit in here. So here are the collections. What I had to do to make this team work was one, I took Naruko up to a engraving 60, and that helped a bunch. And another thing is I had to equip a fairly strong collection on a collection with a lot of stats on Lorsan, so that he didn't have the lowest HP, allowing Liberta to link Vika. So what you're looking for in the battle is, as you can see here, once Liberta ults, which he should, there we go, he links Vika and the boss, and that's what you want to get a good time in here. And yeah, obviously Solus. And then last but not least, here is the bane of my existence, because this team does not work for me at all. And then you're wondering, okay, I mean, what do you mean? 30 seconds, that's fine. This team is supposed to do like 24 seconds for my account. I can't get it to work. And why can't I get it to work? TLDR, it's collections. So what did I have to do to fix it? As you can see here, I got 30 seconds. And this was with my normal ranger tree. But I was able to take it even lower, but I'll show you guys how. But yeah, this is the team, right? Most people are using Lyca in here. You can also use the awakened version of Thane in here, but that's pretty much whale territory, because you need dancers, and for dancers you probably need their 40 signature item. I don't have them at any investment, so I can't really tell. I did test them out at like Ascended 20 signature item, and that was by far not better. So things I had to do to make this team work right. So this is a 30-second variation. Let me show you guys something better than 30 seconds. So here, right, 28 seconds. As you can see here, I brought my ranger tree up, obviously increasing Lyca's damage. And I did a bit of collection swapping, but the best hit, if I can find it, which I hope I can because it's pretty hilarious, is actually without collections. Because I got so frustrated that this team wouldn't work. This might be like a bit cringe to find, honestly, but I really do want to show you guys it. So as you can see here, 28 seconds, right? 30 seconds. But we're looking for, once I took the shift from like 34. So here's the 31 seconds. As you can see here, I have no collections. And this was at the period where I'm just like, okay, something's wrong. So I'm just slowly removing every single collection from the team, because as you can see here, so no collections for 35 seconds. Then I threw on collection on only Lyca, and that was 31 seconds. But as you can see here, with full collections, I was at 36 seconds. And then I just had to cook my way through collections one by one. And I ended up at this setup, which, again, it's not good, 28 seconds. But yeah, it's better than 34 seconds I was getting previously. Sorry, this was pretty rambly. But because I needed this myself, I do want to show you guys the stats on my collections. But I guess I can't do it. I guess I can show you on some of them. For Lyca, just a generic strong one. But yeah, these were the collections that I used on the different heroes, right? On this one, lots of insight is good. And then on Lyca, even though I currently don't have a collection on her, I'm just using one with, I believe, physical, pierce, and attack as the red notes. All right, long-winded, I'm sorry. I guess I'm just getting back into the hang of things. But I can make it up to you guys, I trust, by going over to the browser real quick. And then I will shout out Ferrara. If you guys remember, well, probably you don't remember, but I do have a Temporal Rift free-to-play guide, and Ferrara was pretty much the supplier of the teams for that guide. But here he is again. He's very active on the crowdsourcing Discord server, and he is posting Chinese guides for the Nightmare Corridor and the Cursed Realm, amongst other things he finds on, I believe he finds them on Weibo, but I could be wrong. But yeah, so this doesn't tell you anything, but this does. So basically, I'll link both of these in the description. You have two images. You have the translated explanation of the second image here, which is the guide. So the first line here is the Merc priority. Again, you need and this is the Nightmare Corridor. And again, you need Athalia. There are no variations without Athalia in the Athalia round. It tells you to Merc Baden. I don't use Baden. I don't actually use a Merc hero. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. You can definitely do it without Baden by using my formations. And then obviously as we go down here, it becomes less important. And I wouldn't Merc Thane personally, because that seems like such a whale variation. That's right. So if you follow this guide, as you can see here, it's using Baden Trashia in the first team. If we recall back to my teams, I'm not using Baden Trashia in the first team. I'm using Scarlet in the first team, but oh my god, what did I just do? Sorry. But yeah, this is an option, and obviously for the Nightmare Corridor, there are so many variations that you can do, swapping around teams as well. It's really free. Find the one that works best for you. But yeah, here's the Seal team. It doesn't have the Leica variation, but if you look at my previous Nightmare Corridor video, I believe I have the Leica variation if you can't get the Sophia one to work. As you can see here, it's using dancers. I don't use dancers. I use this, but I don't use Lorsen. But I use Crashio over Lawson and a bit of positional changes. But yeah, Seal team, you just have to try out a lot of variations and see what works. The one that I'm currently using is the one that works best for me. Here, they're using Baden in this team, and this is where I take this team and throw it into the third team, right? And then I use Scarlet in here, thus eliminating the need for Baden, which is pretty huge. And it also frees up Soulless, which is pretty big for the Vika team, which we'll get to further down. So here, as I talked about when I went over my teams, here's the Athalia team with Orthos and Liberta. For this team, you have to play around. I believe you need Orthos to be the lowest health. Actually, we could probably see it in here. Yeah, so for the round 4 translation note, Team 1, Athalia needs the highest attack and combat power, and Orthos needs the lowest health, right? So yeah, usually Orthos needs the lowest health, so that's why I deduced that. Now here's the the Vika round, right? I can't use the Gavious variations, or I haven't even tested it because I don't have Gavious. I'm using the Awakened Soulless version along with Naruko. Many things can be done in here. I personally have hit 19 seconds, but that was with Mythic Vika previously with a different setup that ruined my other teams using what is she called? Rosaline. I need Rosaline for my Scarlet team, or everything falls apart in there. So yeah, you have to play around with it. But if you follow this guide, you can use this variation of the Vika team. And then last but not least, this is Hell on Earth for me. Hopefully it's not for you guys. Interestingly enough, they're using both. Oh, I suppose this is the same round, right? Oh, I don't speak this language, but I mean they're using Gavious in here and Gavious in here. I guess we could take a look. Yeah, it's the same round because it's the same boss, right? So I guess there's a Leica version for this boss as well, which I do vaguely remember. For me, the Leica version worked well, but that breaks my last and my 6th team, right? So that doesn't really work. And then, is this really what they plan to use Scarlet team on the last one? I mean, I guess. I mean, I guess. No, this is the last team because this is Thane who's used for the last team. Again, I obviously, as you might be able to tell, I haven't looked at this guide because, well, Thane eliminates it and the use of Baden eliminates it for me. So yeah, I just cooked whatever I had by looking at the leaderboard myself. Right, so this is, I'll link both of these in the description, the translation notes and the actual guide. I mean, it's a good guide. Usually these don't have many variations, but it does list some subs. And I guess it's a nice base to go out or to base your teams upon. But I would look at my teams first because I think my teams are pretty good, especially for lower accounts. Right. Enough rambling. Let's head back to the game and let's head over to the Curse Realm. Curse Realm, it's the same as usual. I'm actually proud, believe it or not. I'm proud with my 100 million because I don't have Lucius. Like Lucius would add, well, what would he add? He would add like 14 million, billion, sorry, to my score or so. But yeah, without Lucius, I'm doing 100 million, which is fine with me. So for the first team here, it's the Baden team. Things you can do in here is you can use Calthin even at Elite over Odin, and then you want Calthin in the first position and Baden in the second. This team, super RNG, it can hit. I've hit 21. As you can see here on my best hit, it hit 17, which is unlucky. But what is not unlucky is my Belinda team, who managed somehow to do 22, almost 23 billion on this hit. For this Belinda team, all right, and here are the collections for the Baden team. Right. Anyways, for the Belinda team, here you have to do a few things. As you can see here, I've played around with it a bit. The main thing you want to do, let's talk about variations first. So for variations of the Belinda team, Tamrus has replacements. So Tamrus can be, you can throw in you can throw in Yennefer, the Witcher Yennefer hero in here, and that works to a decent amount. It was also able to hit 23 million, but it was less stable for me. But yeah, you can use Yennefer over Tamrus. But one thing you have to make sure to do is you want your Lavatune to have the lowest HP. And why is that? Because you need Liberta to link with Lavatune. And if we go in here and we just speed along until Liberta ults, as you can see, he links himself, and then he should. There you go. Again, the screen clutter. Let's see if I can actually pause it. There you go. As you can see, he ults and links Lavatune with the enemy. And that's what you want, because you want Lavatune to spam his ult, so Lavatune has to be the lowest HP unit you have. And that's the only secret to this. Other than that, it's just a complete RNG fest. Again, for collections, these types of collections are good. I'm using the Tamrus +2 collection, which gives him a cheat death. If you don't have the +2 collection, you can try the Yennefer version as well. For the SEAL team, I can't make the best in slot SEAL team. I'll go over a guide with the best in slot SEAL team, but I think this SEAL team is really good. Like 11 billion. Again, no Awakened Heroes, no Matria, no Brutus, no bullshit. I'm using, what is this hero even called? Nyla, right? The new dragon hero. Adds a lot of survivability to the team, and it was by far the best variation I could do of the SEAL team. Next up, I believe this is yeah, it is. So I don't have Lucius, right? Which is the elephant in the room. So obviously, if you had Lucius, you would do the Lucius team from the leaderboard or from the guide that I'll show you guys in a minute. But for those of you who don't have Lucius, I'm using a Scarlet team. Again, here are the collections. Again, this is kind of just throwing stuff together and see what sticks. And I mean, 8 billion damage is 8 billion damage. Can you even be mad about that? Yes, of course you can, but I don't have Lucius, so alternatives are slim. And I guess 8 billion damage is 8 billion damage after all. But obviously, if you have Lucius, use the Lucius team in here. Next up, this is the reason this is my best hit. I hit almost 26 billion on this team, which is, I don't even know how. Usually it hits, 16 or 20 billion. Whatever reason it hit higher. Here are the collections. Anything of note in here? I don't believe so. Actually, yeah. Shimira is using this collection with the +1. And that gives the, while the shield is active, the target's attack rating and defense ratings are reduced. So that's actually a skill +1 that matters for this round. Other than that, just use a strong collection. Again, Kren hijacked my Leica collection, right? I just threw my strongest ranger collection on Kren, because, I mean, yeah, I'm not using Leica in here. And yeah, it's just RNG. SP effect, you need to do that on Saphir. Next and last but not least, here is the Thalia team. Now, if you don't have the trial version of the new hero, or you don't have the new hero, you can use Daemon in here to just about the same success. Here's an important thing before you start throwing this team together. You need this pet to be level 15. If this pet is not level 15, you cannot use this team, and I'll show you what to do if you can't use this team. And I guess I'll show you guys that right now in the guide. So yeah, and here are the collections. Obviously, this is a trial hero, so it doesn't have a collection. And yeah, 100 billion damage, no Lucius. We take those, and it's Cursed Realm, so who even cares at this point, right? So, Cursed Realm guide. Again, Farara, I really need to ask this guy how to pronounce his name. But yeah, Farara, he hooked us up again with a Chinese guide for the Cursed Realm. So, as you can see here, Merc priorities. Baden, I agree with. There are no alternatives to Baden in Team 1. I believe there's a Kren variation, but don't just Merc a Baden or have Baden. Again, I don't have Baden, I Merc Baden. Obviously, if I had Baden, I would definitely Merc Lucius, but I don't have either, so I have to Merc Baden. Next up, here is the first team, right? It's the Baden team, no variations for Baden. And as I spoke of, you can use this guy, Calthin, at Elite, or you can use Odin, right? I tried Calthin at Elite for a total of 2 rounds before concluding. I'm just going to use Odin. But yeah, I probably should have tried him out even further here. This is the Tamrus version. Again, make sure that Lavatune has the lowest health, so Liberta links him. Next up, if you have, what is he called? Gavius. For the SEAL team, obviously you want to use Gavius for the SEAL team. It's insane synergy. For me, I don't have Gavius. I'm not actually using any of these listed variations, but here are some different variations you can try, right? So obviously this one's probably going to be hard to make. This one's using Hildwyn, and as you can see here, I'm just gonna guess that this is Hildwyn investment. Actually, we could just go take a look. This is round, what is it? Round 2? That's round 3. Hildwyn Mythic 20. Oh, so you could actually use him in Mythic. I guess I should have tried that out, but I didn't. That's my loss. But yeah, I mean, I'll take my 11 billion and leave. Here's the Lucius version. Now, they don't list a sub for Lucius, which I think they should, right? Because most people don't have Lucius, or maybe most people have Lucius. Maybe I'm just the only one who don't have him. But yeah, obviously, if you can make the Lucius team, make the Lucius team. If you can't make the Lucius team, go look at what I did and just try and cook around with whatever you have left of heroes and try and make something happen. Here, again, this is the setup that I'm using. I'm using a different order of heroes. I think my order for me personally was better, but this is probably to do with +2 Rowan collections, which is why they're using this order. Again, I used my own order. Here, if you don't have Sophia, it says that you can use Joan of Arc. I haven't tried that out. I find it unlikely that would be any good, but I guess you could try it out if you're in a pickle. You can use the Dragon Pet. I actually didn't know. I haven't tried out with the Dragon Pet, but again, I hit a 26 billion with Owl, so yeah. Alright, so here, as you can see here, this is the exact formation I'm using, and as well they list the sub, which is obviously if you don't have Scorpion Lady, you can use Daemon instead. And you need the level 15 you need the level 15 deer for this to work. If you don't have the level 15 deer, you are forced into using this formation because you need a shield generator, and then yeah, this formation basically. This one doesn't. Oh, I guess there's no additional notes, but yeah, I just remember that you need Helios if you don't have 15 deer, because I've not had 15 deer for a while, so I'm pretty used to using Helios in this Cursed Realm round. But yeah, that does it for my teams in both game modes, along with some general guides that are, I mean, they're pretty good, right? Especially if you have a bigger account, but then again, if you have a bigger account, just look at the leaderboard. Treasure Scramble, season over. I guess I can share my teams, but I mean, it doesn't matter now, right? But I'm actually really happy with these Treasure Scramble teams for the ice round. Usually the ice round's by far my worst, but whatever I cooked up here worked out great. Especially this team I'm really, really proud of, and this team. So these two teams I'm proud of. This, yeah, it just is what it is, right? And the rest of the teams are fine. But yeah, that's not of much use. Now, alright, I made it. I think I've been through whatever I wanted to speak about. I'm sorry for the lack of videos. Again, exams, I was busy, so expect me to, well, now that the exams are over, I'm no longer busy, so you can expect weekly videos once again with the Nightmare Corridor and the Cursed Realm. Right, I'll see you guys. Oh, one thing for the guys at the end. We are getting raid buffs soon, so I'm going to do a summoning live stream. I've done two before. I'm going to do a big summoning live stream with raid buffs, and we're going to see if we can pull like 3 or at least 2 awakened heroes with my time cards. And I'm not sure what we do with these, but we'll find something to do with these once the raid buffs hit, which they will next patch. So probably during the week of next patch, I'm going to do some sort of live stream. I'll announce it on my page, but yeah, that could be fun. They are usually fun. And also I managed to fix the delay that I had on the last live stream by not being an idiot. But I'm running out of voice, so this is it for me. Hope you guys had a nice weekend.